for us to safeguard, especially children.
Yes.
But they're saying, well, it goes without saying that healthy boundary training, child protection training, and criminal background checks are the responsibility of every congregation. We are called in this unique time to seek a deeper cultural shift. We're called to stand up against a world that allows predators to flourish and victims to be shamed into silence. The church is called to be what the world is not: safe, life-giving, and willing to hold people accountable. We stand with all who've been victims of assault and objectification in the church and beyond. This is a statement that needs to be heard. Not, this is addressed to the Presbyterians, but I'm sure other denominations and religious institutions as well are coming to grips with this.
True. I know that the Catholic Church is reeling from all of this that has been part of its culture for eons.
Yeah.
And how often were those situations pushed under the rug, and how many people have been so impacted by the abuse they experience through the church, and what does that do to someone's ability to, how do you overcome that and still believe in the precepts and principles of that church?
Yeah.
But that is, I think that's a most powerful statement for the Presbyterian Church to put forth right now.
Yeah, and if folks who are watching or listening to this program go to their church's website, to the denomination's website or the religious institution's website, you'll probably find something there where churches are trying to respond.
Oh, yes.
Now, we've talked about the Y and its programs of advocacy. Are there other programs that are happening on the premises that would address these issues?
Oh, absolutely. The
I thought so. That's why I asked the question.
Thanks for asking, Jeff. The YWCA across the country is the country's largest provider of domestic violence, sexual assault services. That's the biggest program that we all operate, and that work has been going on for decades. Little known to many people, but right now with the emphasis on the Me Too, many of them are able to get in the forefront in their communities to let the community know they're there and this is the work they are doing and have been doing for decades.
Yeah.
So it's never been more critical and more important, but we have been doing this work for a long, long time.
And so people can call the YW, I want to stress YWCA.
Thank you again, Jeff.
And, or is it, there must be a website?
We do, YWCABinghamton.org.
Okay.
And we're on social media pretty frequently these days. We have a wonderful new director of development who's fabulous and putting us out in the forefront to deliver strong messages to the community about what we're doing at 80 Hawley Street, specifically to empower.
If someone is looking for a workshop, or if someone is looking for, what about individual counseling? If someone feels that they have been victimized and need to talk to someone, is the YW an appropriate place to go?
We can refer them to the people that do that work in our community. At our place at 80 Hawley Street, we work with the women who live in our housing programs. So the staff that are there, the case managers, the counselors, and the resident assistants are working with the women who currently live in the YWCA. We don't have a community-wide program that we're operating, although that is something that we're continuously looking for a way to provide.
Sure.
But we are a referral service, absolutely, and we are connected to every social service provider within 100 miles of our place.
See, being the guy that I am, I pictured YW as housing, a place to live, and a pool. And
Funny.
that's about what I knew, you know, until I saw at the Broome County Council of Churches office a card that listed so many of the services that were so helpful to women, but also to the general community.
I think probably the biggest program that we're doing that people aren't aware of is called Perfectly Suited. And that provides professional clothing for men and women, as well as additional services that revolve around the ability to search for a job, be successful in attaining that job, and then retaining the position. So we have a vocation education specialist who works directly with Perfectly Suited, and when clients come, we do not ask any questions about why they are asking for help.
Sure.
The clothing is accessible, free, and it's amazing what we are getting from the community for donations. Many of the articles have their tags still on them. They're brand new, never worn. And the need and accessing of that program has never been greater. We served almost 400 people this past year. They make an appointment, they come, and they're met with a volunteer and or our vocation education specialist. And through those listening skills, we're able to find out what is this person's individual need, and then we try to help them either by our own ability or referring them to someone who can give them that. But I will tell you that by providing them with that professional outfit to make them look like they need to look, they walk out of there feeling like they're validated. And they have just as much worth as you or I do, who, you know, we have the wonderful luxury of walking into a store and buying something that we need, but many people cannot afford. And I think there's still some stigma attached to that. I could go on and on about that. But the fact that this happens for them and they are able to walk out of there feeling like, yeah, I can do this. Many of them have come back to let us know what an impact it made for them. So there's that example of, you know, you toss the pebble and you never know how far the ripple will extend. But it's a much needed program, and one that is little known in the community. Most of the work that we do is not known. We're doing our best to get the word out, but every penny is put into the programs and not in advertising. So
is it binghamtonywca.org? Or is it
YWCA-binghamton.org.
All right, let's put the Y first.
The Y is first, yes.
YWCA-binghamton.org.
Big letters.
There you go. And you'll find the programs there, the things that are being available to the community, and not just swimming.
That's right.
One last thing, you've been there 18 years, and have you seen, we have about a minute here, what are some of the changes that have taken place in your tenure at the YW in Binghamton?
Well, for us, it was the creation of the specific housing programs that did not exist at the time to help the most vulnerable women living in the community who didn't have any place to go. And we're really proud of the success stories that we have. Hundreds of women have come to us for help and have gone on to higher education. SUNY Broome, we have a close relationship with SUNY Broome, Binghamton University, a number of other vocation training centers, and the women who we didn't expect to see alive the next 2 weeks have gone on to achieve amazing success.
What powerful stories you'd be able to tell.
We save lives, Jeff. We save lives.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for joining us for
My pleasure.
the Encounter program. Our guest today has been Carole Coppens, who is the Executive Director of the Binghamton YWCA at 80 Holly Street.
Right.
I got
thank
that.
you.
Sure. And we thank you for joining us, too, for the Encounter program produced by the Broome County Council of Churches. by WBNG TV and with the cooperation, of course, of WNBF Radio. I'm Jeff Kellam, hoping that in the coming week you'll be gentle with people and with yourself.